Sometimes customers send in one console, other times they send a few. In this case, the customer sent us 20 consoles to repair, or 20 individual items. I'm going to try and work through this as a whole, start to finish, to get everything done. And we'll start with some of the easier stuff and then work the way through to the full consoles. Let's just take a look what we've got. So this is the customer's collection that we've had in. We've got a Nintendo NES, we've got 2 controllers for it and a game. We've got many Game & Watch and Game & Watch style systems. Like the Submarine Battle isn't a Game & Watch, but it's basically the same style. We've got this, I don't know if it's a Tetris clone or official, but I'd say it's a clone. Nestled at the back, we've got 2 Game Gears. The power supplies for the Game Gear and the NES. The games for it, and 2 of the classic Game Boys. Now, the customer wants to keep this all as original as possible. So he's not going for upgrades, he just wants this entirely restored and serviced. Some stuff might work and other needs repair, but either way, we're going to service every single one, opening them up, cleaning them and giving them full tests. Starting with this, what looks like a Tetris clone, we'll just put some AAs in. And screen's on, which is a good sign. That seems to work. Pause and play. Maybe the start button needs a little bit of a service, so this will be a basic restoration. And if we take a look inside, we can see the speaker has got a screw attached to it, which I don't think should be in there. That's come off here, so you can see the circuit board screws come loose. And if we now gently lift out the circuit board, we can see some really tiny rubbers here that are all just balancing in the center of the buttons. We have the screen, which has this rubber with conductive carbon running between the screen. It's a classic way to connect old STN panels. If we look at the circuit board, it's got a die straight onto the circuit board and then covered with resin. So this will have like wire bonds flying out and making connections. This was common for like prototype boards or low production runs. So the only thing we can do here is clean all these pads to make sure they're good and clean the rubbers. And we'll do that using a pencil eraser. Just gently rub over the contacts. Let's take this one as an example. And once you've cleaned that way, take a cotton wool bud soaked in IPA and rub off the dirt left behind. To clean these rubber pads, if we lift one out, you can see inside that little black dot is conductive carbon. We just take a piece of paper, place it down so it's touching and push down. We can gently rub the conductive carbon, and you can see that takes a small layer off to remove any grease that's built up on the edge of that carbon. That's all of the pads cleaned. Now let's just try and clean some of this grime off the shell with IPA and a cloth. And next up with a bit of swoosh as well. And it's not an awful lot, but it has got quite a bit of yellow off. It does look nicer and it's obviously been cleaned now, so it's more hygienic. And last up, we'll try and improve the screen. So these old panels have glass here etched, and on top is the polarizer, and when power is applied to certain areas, it effectively twists the light 90 degrees and makes certain sections black. We can see this polarizer though is all scratched and damaged. I've got loads of different kinds. I've found the right one that works. We've got a nice new sheet here that goes over and keeps it clean, and it has the same twist, and obviously even blacker with it being new. Then after the glass panel here that's etched, there's this board behind, which is a reflector to reflect the light back. And we can see some moisture down here. So if we gently peel this off, we can see that's either moisture or some of the crystal leaking. And we can see wiping with a dry cotton wool bud, it's obviously just condensation. So let's just clean this with a little bit of IPA. And now we have a really nice clean panel. And it's that clean you can even see all of the etched artwork in the glass. And the final layer under that is another polarizer and just a silver reflective printed sheet. This polarizer is in perfect condition, so there's no need to replace that. Let's just now reassemble this. And with it all built back up now, you can see all the plastic's nice and clean. The screen's got a really nice dark black colour to it now. And let's just make sure everything still works. All the buttons are nice and sensitive now, so that pause button's fixed. And it's got a nice new polarizer. You can see a little dint there, which is the actual cardboard behind, that silver cardboard. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do to get rid of that crease without risking damaging something else. But overall now, that's nice and clean. And it's 1 down and 19 to go. We'll move on to the Game Gear games. These will be a very similar service to any game, and mainly it will be about servicing the pins inside of here. Game Gear games use a 3.8 game bit screwdriver, meaning you'll need a screwdriver like that with a little star end on. After that, you need to apply a bit of force here to start a lip, and then get a little pry tool in and pop open that so you can see the hinge open. Do that both sides, and then there's technically 2 more hinges, but if you simply pull at that stage, they come off nice and easy. That exposes these pins here, which again, we're simply going to get a pencil eraser and rub all of this grime off here. So you can see the half we've done versus the part we haven't, with all the grease and contaminants on. Once we've done that with the abrasion, we get a cloth soaked in IPA, rub the pins clean, and now we have nice service pins. We can see in this case there's nothing wrong with the actual game, there's no need to solder or clean that, that's all fine. The main service will be this. And now we'll do the same for the 2 Sonic and Tails. These are definitely fake labels, and no screw hole at the back, and no Sega branding on the front. I'm not sure whether this is genuine inside, but the cartridge and label definitely aren't. Either way, the servicing will be exactly the same. And now the test will be, do these games actually work? That's a good start, we've got it loading. And if you guys want a Game Gear, this is an original Coca-Cola Rare Edition, but it's had a clean screen and a service. Let's test the Sonic and Tails. And that's all good. So that's the Game Gear games done, and the Tetris clone thing done. That leaves us with a load of Game & Watch devices, a NES with the game and the controllers, 2 Game Gears, and 2 Game Boys. Now there will be 2 of us working on this, so you guys are going to have to let me know which ones do you want me to work on and see being fixed, and which ones shall we pass over. So we've got a load of Game & Watches, and we've got handhelds. Typically I wouldn't work on the handhelds, but if you want to see them specifically, let me know. And that's it for this one, guys. I'll catch you in the next.